So we are the other side, but we share obviously a lot of similarities. So at BNP Paribas, we are across the value chain. So obviously we do the mortgage lending. We finance ourselves in a covered bond and in green bond market, and then we advise clients that will issue green bonds and covered bonds. So basically we see the whole chain, and where we see a lot of value in these initiatives, I'll start by the end of the chain actually. You've heard it again a lot today. The key question is, how can we mobilize private finance to help with the energy transition? And Sean has brilliantly shown it again. Green bond so far has been a brilliant tool. It's still a small side of the market, and the key question is, how do you grow it? And talking to issuers and investors all the time, it always boils down to two questions. For issuers is, where is the price differentiation? So you can see it to some extent at the moment in some cases. It's more technical, supply-demand imbalances very often. What we need now is to think, how do we get a fundamental justification for a difference in prices, because then that's sustainable difference in pricing if we can change the fundamentals. And here, this initiative is very specific. We focus on one instrument, covered bond, that has access directly to the asset pool, and we focus on one asset. So I know, if we've heard all the discussion this afternoon, we start thinking, okay, it's one asset is building. It's very different if you look at commercial, residential, and so on. But still, it's very focused versus all the type of assets you can look at for a green bond. So looking at one instrument, one asset, I think we have most chances of succeeding. Now, there are two elements we need to look at for success. One, define comparability. And for investors, that's the key point. When they look at it, for them, it's not so much pricing. Today, they tell you same risk, same price, so I'm happy with that. But if you want me to invest more, I need to be able to compare the bonds that come through quite easily. And from that perspective, we need to be able to define what is a green building, hence what is a green mortgage, and hence what is a green covered bond. And if we manage to agree between all parties and have a widely accepted standard, which means all the banks, the valuers, everybody we've heard today, and something that investors will want to invest it as a green covered bond, then we have one piece of the element. The second, as Mikko was highlighting again, is if we want banks to promote that, that financing, even more, then we need a better capital treatment for that mortgage. And if you have that, then you can then ask for better capital treatment in covered bond and get more investor base and a larger investor base in that sphere. And we know, by the way, that dedicated green bond funds that are being set up, such as the name that Shan was mentioning, most of them can already invest in green covered bonds. I mean, covered bonds are part of the instruments they will look at. So demand is there. It's just a matter of exponentially growing it. And just on the last point on why don't banks do more green mortgages? The key answer I get most of the time is that actually we don't see really an end demand. So, people that want a mortgage, they just want a mortgage. They actually don't really kind of look further. And guess what? Usually if you offer better pricing, people will want that mortgage usually.
Thank you, Agnès.